Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. In this video I want to talk about telephone line simulation and some interesting tips and tricks you can do if you want to have a phone ring, be able to play audio, so on and so forth for like haunted houses and escape rooms. And what's interesting to me is it seems like there's a bit of a demand actually for using like vintage rotary dial telephones and other phones inside of escape rooms, but all the equipment I've seen is extremely expensive. And for anyone who's just wanting to do something sort of a backyard deal or whatever, there's a lot of tricks you can do for cheaper, just most people haven't published or talked about the methods you can do. In this video, I'm mostly going to just be talking about this, using a BooTunes MP3 player made by Fright Ideas. This MP3 player here will still cost about $150, but if you want to use a cheaper triggerable MP3 player, it would probably work as well. Just you need to make sure you wire it correctly. And I could also make separate videos talking about using just sort of cheap power supplies to even be able to just talk between two phones if you're just wanting to be able to talk between two people. Because this is a dial select intercom, so you can actually select different things to happen over telephone line, so you can dial and that's a pause button. Basically right now I have this set up as a MP3 player, and this phone I'm using is a key telephone, but you could use this with a single line phone as well, such as just a regular 500 type phone, which is just sort of your basic rotary phone. Really, this is limitless. You could use it with whatever telephone you want. Basically, the connections for this are fairly simple. You would just connect your telephone line, so tip and ring, and whenever you lift a phone that's connected to this, it'll turn on. And another nice bonus about this is it has what's called a locking ground. So you could use this to turn on lighting or other equipment. So when the phone is lifted, it will turn on other stuff. You could also use something like this, which is smaller, but these are sometimes hard to find and a bit pricey. But this also does the same thing where you give it power and then it will sense when a phone is lifted and switch these relays to turn on. And then you can also play audio over that. These, though, do not have dial select, so you cannot turn on things or get it to do anything with a tone or rotary phone. You can buy these pretty cheap. These only cost like 10 or 20 bucks on eBay. These are tone sensing, so when you have tones played, it'll switch these relays. And it has 8 of them, so that you can do a lot with that. What's nice about this unit, though, if you can find one on eBay, just a dial select intercom, is that this can do both rotary and tone, as well as having all of the relay functions built into it. This can have 19 different things it can do. So basically it has 19 relays or stations that it'll switch. So you can dial 1, 3, well actually it starts at 0, 1, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And then you have 2, 0, 2, 1, 2, 2, so on. So that's why 2 is not a single extension that you can dial. I could go into real depth about this if anyone needs or wants the info. And basically this is all powered off of a 24 volt power supply. And if you wanted to just have phones that you want to just be able to talk between, like this, all you really need to do is supply about 24 volts DC, and then when the telephones are picked up, it'll load the line, and that would even work to just be able to power a phone. Then going to the next layer of doing MP3s or audio over the phone line, this unit will amplify and deal with all of the telephone line side of things. And then I built this little audio isolator. You can find these on eBay, again, pretty cheap. I think you can get like 10 of them for about 10 bucks. And this basically is attached to the telephone line from the audio output. So that way there won't be any back voltage going to here. So this is a good idea if you're running a telephone line and you want to have audio on it. This is just going to isolate your audio back feed. And basically what's really nice about a Bluetooth, if you want to spend the price tag for one, is it can do DMX. So if you're doing a more complicated show, this can be synced to other DMX devices or a box or whatever you want to use for your show setup. So if I wanted to, I could make an audio file that will play tones, and I could even have this turn on and then play a tone into this, so it'll turn on and then ring a phone. You could do a ton with this setup, basically. So you could have a phone ring, and then when someone picks it up, you could have a file play so that it'll know when this is picked up, and then it'll play an audio file, so then you could have a creepy voice or something, give you a clue or whatever you want to do. And right now, like I say, I just have it set up as an MP3 player, so each button is basically an MP3 file or folder. This is my Disney folder. This is more organ music. Vintage jazz. Western music. And you can see by pressing the button again, I get a new song that's within the same folder. This is a pause button. This is previous track. So that'll play the previous sound file that was in the same folder that you're already in. So there's tons of different options you can do, because Bluetooth, you can set it up with different options such as volume increase, decrease, like I demonstrated, play, pause, previous track. You can have it loop songs. Also, something I've done in the past is created specific stereo audio files, so that way I can have some speaker in the room, because phone lines are mono, so they only have one speaker track. So you could have left speaker do one thing and then right speaker do something else. So for instance, in the past, I've set up things where I played the Haunted Mansion organ music for the foyer while the ghost host is on the phone line. So that way, when you pick up the phone, it'll trigger and play the organ music in the room, and it's pretty neat. If anyone has any questions about this, I am happy to talk more in depth about certain aspects of this setup. And if anyone has any wiring questions, I'd be happy to help. Thanks for watching, and be sure to check out the other videos on my channel.